Hi everyone, and welcome to the Higher Education Virtual Conference 2022, a joint Turnkey and Micro Focus event. Thanks everyone for joining. Hope you enjoyed the earlier sessions from today, which you've seen with the IAM session with Mick, some of the myth busting around the IQ and Microsoft Azure, and the associate and identity management with Ben and Dave. We've got 3 more sessions for the rest of the day. We have the managed service session, which are now, and then we have PAM and the cybersecurity session later in the day. So today's session is about all things managed services, some of the benefits it can bring to an organisation, and some of the challenges that organisations face without using a managed service. I'm Chris Boyle. I'm the practice director for identity at Turnkey Consulting. I've been in the industry for about 20 years, delivering micro-focus solutions across the academic environment. I'm joined today by Rebecca and Sue from the University of Bedfordshire. Guys, do you want to give a quick introduction? Rebecca?
Yes, my name's Rebecca Vaffadari. I've been looking after IDM since 2007 on and off when we put it in. And it is only one application we look after out of about a list of 40. And that may explain later on why we needed a managed service.
Hi, my name's Sue Hopkinson. I've worked in the university for a number of years. I've been supporting IDM since we've implemented it in 2007.
Thanks, guys. So what we're going to do is the style of this is just is kind of a panel session. So we're going to just ask a few questions and hopefully get your feedback on the managed services and all things around that area. So the first one is really, why did you choose a managed service? What challenges did you face for your need for a managed service? And just if you could talk about your experiences in between any service providers you have and across the Turnkey.
We chose a managed service because we do not have the expertise to keep this alive ourselves. Although we had a considerable amount of consultancy when we implemented IDM, as you'd expect, as it is not our day job, we don't ever have the ability to create our own drivers, make amendments. We're just not doing it enough to be skillful, and it's a better solution for us to provide or get that service from an outside company. We have always used different consultancy companies, and that's worked well. It does mean that we have to find funding each year, which is also quite tricky. But we think it's better that we ask a professional company to do it rather than fiddle around in the background ourselves and potentially cause issues. One of the problems that we have is that we have always had these contracts, but moving to a new provider is really, really difficult because it's a bit like switching your broadband. You can't just turn it off and then hope a new company can pick up what you've got. So when we approached a number of companies to say, would they be interested in having our support contract, Turnkey came back to us and suggested a health check that would take place. So you would have a detailed understanding of what we've got, our drivers, how they worked, our business processes. And that turned out to be the best solution, because then we knew you had an opportunity to do a forensic investigation, for want of a better phrase, to see whether or not you were happy to pick us up and whether or not we were happy with your feedback. This finally gave us the confidence to move to yourselves and stop relying on ad hoc consultancy and firms that had little or no resource to support us.
Cool. Yeah, because I guess one of the challenges is around, from our perspective as well, is when we take on new clients, is understanding what that environment looks like and what sort of patch levels things are and everything like that. Because from our perspective, we have to support that environment. So really getting an understanding of not only the technology, but also your business processes, how you operate, and how you want to manage.
Yeah, I think we had maybe a 3-day workshop with you off and on, where you connected to our systems. We provided you with any documentation we had, and then we were available to help you over those 3 days. You then wrote a report which we ensured that our infrastructure department were able to see, who support the servers. And I think that collaboration was what gave us the confidence to say, we're happy to move to you, knowing that we can almost hit the ground running rather than have a period where you're coming to terms with our system and we're coming to terms with working with yourselves. So the transition was seamless, which was essential, because we'd been trying to move for at least 4 or 5 years, but just couldn't do it confidently and find a company that was able to work with us.
Cool. Yeah, and I think from our perspective as well, it helps us, define a roadmap over a period of time. So where there is things, one of the things that we try to do within that report that you get back is a kind of a traffic light system. So that we try to identify the things that almost need remediating immediately, and some things that need to be done in the medium term, and then perhaps things that need to be done in the longer term as well. Kind of align that with any kind of strategic aims and goals that you have as an organisation. So yeah, and it works well for us to understand you and how you work. I think so.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. So what would you say that your expectations of a managed service provider are?
We're expecting the collaboration because we have got the business knowledge, but we haven't got the skills to actually then put it into place within IDM.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Carry on. Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, no, absolutely. And, we have experience across, multiple sort of university organisations as well. And that helps it work in both ways, because ultimately the universities, although they have lots of similarities, they also have lots of bespoke challenges as well. So us being able to understand your business processes and then translate them into the technical business logic that's needed to automate those processes. We really need that collaboration between the two teams, so that we can effectively deliver that in a very short time frame and succeed.
We don't want to tell you the solution necessarily, but what we do try and do to speed up any queries that we may have or any new developments is, if we've already got existing functionality, which we think is similar to what we're asking for, maybe we need a new set of security groups built, we'll point you in that direction, so it's faster for you to come up with a solution, and rather than reinvent the wheel. But we also want you to come back to us and say there are better ways of doing it. We're not content with what we've got. It's just there, and we've done a lot of firefighting over the last few years, as all institutions do. If a security issue is raised, we have to put in checks and balances everywhere very, very quickly. We want you to criticise us. That's essential, rather than just accept that we're the customer and whatever we want is right, because it's not.
No. And that's it. The team that we have that help you deliver that, they're very experienced in both the Micro Focus product, but also across higher education as a whole as well. So one of the benefits of us having sort of 9 or 10 different HE clients, and having the historical knowledge of HE, is really that we can almost kind of say what other universities are doing, and that then helps expedite things. So we're not, like you say, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not starting everything from scratch. Other universities will have the same sort of challenges and business requirements as yourselves as well. So really being able to kind of share that with you, helps us be able to deliver things a lot quicker than what it would be if we were just, as I say, starting from scratch. Cool. So how successful would you say that the managed service has been?
It's getting better and better. I think the first year was obviously a learning process for us all. We had to work out how to work with you. You had to work out how to work with us. But, we have certainly getting through any tickets that we log quickly and with good communication. The service desk is very useful. You don't go rogue like some of our support contracts who will get on the phone or telephone you or email you, let's say, and then you don't have a clear audit trail of what's going on. Sue can log a ticket, I can pick it up, or vice versa. and you are receptive to what we need. What you have in addition is some contractors who work overseas, and that gives us a longer support window, which is nice for us. We know that we can log something at whatever time of the day, and it could be that by 4 a.m. it's been picked up by someone. So I think that's starting to help. Sue, do you want to talk about the monthly meetings?
The monthly meetings are really handy because it gives us a chance to actually collaborate and decide what we're going to do in the future, and what tickets are still opened, and how we can actually go forward if we need to.
Sometimes tickets are open because there could be a misunderstanding on our part on who the next action is and what information you need, or you're waiting for us to prioritize. We may have logged 3 tickets in a week. So these monthly meetings are so good because we can just review where we are, review what should come first, because priorities are so hard in higher education. Things just happen. And we can also look at the outstanding money that we have in the pot, and you'll highlight if we need to maybe borrow some money from another quarter, or whether or not we're in credit, or if we've asked for something that's turned out to be quite a significant development rather than maybe a simple support job, which we wouldn't know necessarily. We'll get that notification from yourselves, and we can look for extra capital to see if we can add it to our existing hours. We don't get that with other suppliers. With other suppliers, of which we've got many, and that's why Sue and I have an interesting angle when it comes to this, because we do look after so many other applications. You generally only have contact with your account manager when they want to sell you something, or when you're escalating a ticket because you want to complain about it. You're probably one of the only companies that has a proactive approach to dealing with their clients. You want to talk to us regardless of what's going on, and everything feels like it's very open and honest, and you're not trying to sell us something, which is a real bonus. We're happy to buy if there is anything out there, and feel free to tell us about any new functionality. I know you've got an associate system that we're looking at, but we asked, that's the difference. We said, do you happen to have anything that would deal with our non-staff, non-students that we need to get into the identity vault? You came back to us with a suggestion. That was great. So I'm happy to pursue that conversation. And those meetings are that forum. Besides, we can email the support desk at any time, obviously.
The other handy thing as well, apart from the monthly meetings, is that if you do get new developers, they're always introduced to us with a meet and greet meeting. So that's been handy. So we understand who we're actually talking to rather than a faceless person.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know. I mean, we've spoken a little bit earlier in the previous session about the IAM, so Ben has given a session on that earlier. But yeah, the monthly meetings for us as well just helps us schedule better as well. So we know that if you've got particular points in the year, during student registration, that you might need more support, etc., that we can make sure that we're able to support that across yourselves, and give you the support that you need, and try to understand if you've got any sort of change freezes or anything like that. So yeah, it's just effective planning. And yeah, we always want you to understand who's working on your systems, etc. So yeah, being able to meet the team and get familiar with them, and have a team that and knows your systems essentially, rather than just another Micro Focus consultant that comes on. So yeah, from a turnkey perspective, we always it's good to have those that initial report that we can share internally, but yeah, just for them to get to know you as well, so that they can give you that more personal service is one of the things that we aim to do. Cool, thanks guys. So yeah, just the last question we have. So what would you like to see in the future from our money service?
We want you to, as I said before, criticize us. That's great. We've got what we think is probably quite an early installation of Identity Manager. There weren't many people doing it in 2007. Our motivation was the library, actually, who were having to give sort of manually created ID cards for associates who were coming in to use their services, not managing the starters and leavers process very well. So we've got a lot of bespoke drivers that are probably using old style technology. once we get to the point where we're more stable, we're fully upgraded, we're doing everything in the best possible way, we want you to come back to us and say there are better ways of doing it. Our driver to our VLE, for example, I'm pretty sure that could be improved upon. We could be using more APIs and using something that's less labor intensive and easier to manage. We don't want any bespoke stuff. We're not a complicated setup. Our structure is pretty much all students have the same thing, all staff have the same thing. There's not a great deal of granularity, and we've done that on purpose. So if we could start getting rid of any redundancy in our driver set, any overcomplicated logic, that would be great, because I think it would help you from a support point of view, but help us from a maintenance point of view. Because what we do have to do is look for the bugs before we log the tickets, and at the moment that's hard. Sue has to try and find a needle in a haystack quite often when is something going wrong, or is it the source of the data? So that's where we want to be, a continuous improving system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the other side of that coin as well is from a Micro Focus perspective, is that they, they're always adding new features and capabilities, etc., into the existing licensing set as well. So we always try to, keep you up to date with the new capabilities that you're able to leverage as well. So again, us understanding your business and what the strategy of the university is and the things that you're trying to achieve, we can always then try to map them to the capabilities, or if there's an upcoming capability, for example, rather than like you said, develop something now that might be replaced by a roadmap item in the future as well. So we try to offer that. What's the best solution for the business requirements that you have.
Yes, and although we've said that we will never have the skills to develop new drivers, probably don't want them, to be fair. But anything you can give us to improve our ability to problem solve would be great. So, some training in some respects where you can say, when you have done some developments, and you do this now, the documentation is there, but maybe we have to factor in a handover session. So you can say to us, this is how we've built it. This is where you go to see if something's not working. And so we can do more ourselves. So we will log more meaningful tickets if we need to at all. It could be that we can resolve some of these issues ourselves, not fiddling around in the background, but we can see exactly why something's gone wrong. And our skill base will improve over time. We have just almost let it go to some extent because we haven't had a reliable company to work with. But I think, we need to move on from that, and we're hoping to continue working with you for many years and get that confidence back.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. And yeah, certainly we can do that as part of the knowledge transfer, and that we kind of have access to our knowledge bases and things like that. So it's being able to, look through that, and when we may have fixed something maybe a year ago, just kind of have a recap, and that might be something that you can, look at helping yourselves on as well. So we try to keep ourselves fully transparent, etc. The way we approach things is we want to reduce the amount of tickets that that you log, essentially, rather than try to get more tickets. So we just want to be able to have a solution that runs efficiently, essentially.
Yes, definitely. Sounds good.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, that's the end of the mini session. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us on the panel. Just not any questions. I know the team have been answering them in the background, but any that we haven't answered so far, we'll pick up afterwards. So thanks everyone for listening and joining us on this. Just a quick reminder that we have two sessions left. After this one, which we have the privilege access management, and we have the cyber security one. So again, thanks very much for listening, and thanks Rebecca and Sue, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.